Unfathomed Senses. Design, which integrates five senses, aims to create a soothing and uplifting environment. It should form experiences that persuade beauty and cultural integrity through design concepts that inspire and simulates the senses.
We experience it every day without a second thought about how design affects us physically, mentally, and emotionally. We perceive the world through a sum of all our senses. It only has meaning when all our senses are simultaneously engaged as the acts and rituals of our daily lives.
Exploring sensory design and its potential to heal space and material, light and shadow, sound and texture are blended in our everyday experiences. So, let us explore these unfathomed senses together.
Now, to commence our event with the auspicious ceremony of lighting the lamp, we would like to request Registrar Dr. Dr. K.M. Chudasma, the Dean of Students Professor Hemang Taylor, and our Head of Department Dr. Bhavna Vasudeva, and the President of Kala Bhavan Architects Alumni Foundation, Architect Sandhya Shah, to please come on the stage and do the honors.
Thank you, esteemed guests. Before we proceed, I request you all to please stand up in honor of our university song. Please.
Please have a seat. Thank you for joining. We request our Head of Department, Dr. Bhavna Vasudeva, and the President of Kala Bhavan Architects Alumni Foundation, Architect Sandhya Shah, to present the registered Dr. K.M. Chudasma and the Dean of Students, Professor Hemang Taylor, with a token of gratitude.
Now, we request the Head of Department, Dr. Bhavana Vasudeva, to address the gathering. Please, ma'am.
Good evening, one and all. I hope I'm audible. Yeah. Registrar Professor Chudasamaji, Dean of Students Professor Hemang Taylor, University officials, Kala Bhavan Architects Alumni Foundation President Architect Sandhya Shah, and Kala Bhavan Architects Alumni members, fellow architects, and my dear students. On behalf of Department of Architecture, I welcome you all. COVID-19 has taught us, and it is said by wise people, that there is a lesson in every setback, and struggle struggle makes you stronger. It looks like year 2022 will be the year for a fresh start as bad ideas exhaust themselves. On this positive note, our students starting a new chapter by co-hosting Reflection Offline. Let me tell you all that our students and S.A.S Alumni Foundation members put in great efforts and shown enthusiasm to make Reflection 2022 possible in these trying times. As most of you are aware that we are one of the oldest institution of architecture in the country, I take pride in telling you that this place has produced distinguished personalities who are our alumni. Our alumni have contributed immensely to this department by building SAF premises for us and continuing their support and guiding our students regularly and mentoring our students. I extend my sincere gratitude towards our SAF Foundation members. I am happy to inform that we have one of the oldest and most beautiful building, DN Hall, which was conserved and rejuvenated in year 2018 by the university, which we are actively using now. Our sincere gratitude towards our parent institution. Because of you, we are experiencing how to make peace with our heritage. I repeat, because of you, we are experiencing how to make peace with our heritage. It's a great lesson for all of us, including budding architects. We believe in building broad foundations to enable students to work and develop sensible and responsible built environment practices. Ethics and equity and principles of justice do not change here with the calendar. I repeat, ethics and equity and principle of justice do not change here with calendar. That way we are conservative. However, in last 1.5 years, we the team, Department of Architecture, shown the most realistic optimism. We accepted the negatives in the situation. We were honest in identifying the causes and began with turning up on time, offline, online, fulfilling our daily commitments. We came out of judgment mode and found creative solution to many hurdles came our way. We have been working tirelessly since March 2020 to bring positive change in our living and academic environment. I am happy to inform we could manage to shift in renewed DN Hall building, have developed and organized in-house decent library, added few more labs, and most importantly, we could manage to restructure our entire B.Arch curriculum after a very long time. It's a humble beginning of change, and we are putting our best efforts to bring positive change constantly. Change takes effort, but isn't it better than pain of failure? Chanakya said, and I quote, जीवन में दो ही लोग असफल होते हैं, एक वो जो सोचते हैं लेकिन करते नहीं, दूसरे वो जो करते हैं परंतु सोचते नहीं. Here we are trying to build an ecosystem of an academic environment where we train right mix of thinkers and doers, or you may say thinking architects. After all, education is considered a critical factor for promoting sustainable development, and we have a responsibility to leave our future generation a planet that is healthy and habitable for all. I would like to thank our officials, staff members for sparing time to be with us on this occasion, and we will seek support and cooperation from our parent institution, Alumni Foundation, to create a beautiful and progressive world around us. On this day, The other day, our Honorable Vice Chancellor sir said, and I take liberty to quote him, an improved slogan. He said, Sabka Saath, Sabka Prayas, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Utthan. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
We would like to request the Registrar K.M. Chudasama sir to say a few words.
Good evening, all of you. Indeed, a very pleasant evening with the kind presence of the alumni of the Department of Architecture. On behalf of the Maharaja Sayajirao University of Baroda, entire family, staff and students, Senate and syndicate members, I welcome the alumni of this reputed department. We have been noticing that this department had always made a footprints, whether it's about creating a milestone or innovation or in terms of creativity. With the excellent infrastructure being presented for the academics and extension activities to this department, not only that, they have wonderfully utilized it as and when required. This is indeed an opportunity for me to acknowledge the efforts of the teachers of the department, dean of the faculty, and the students of the department, wherein the batches come and go, but they keep on adding to the legacy of this department. Today this department is well known not only in Gujarat but nationwide for two simple things. As Madam mentioned, they have a zeal of adapting to new things despite all the odds, and that is what we witnessed in COVID era also. And another thing is that they are open for a feedback regarding whatever they do, not only from the peer but from the market as well. And that is what has kept them more alive and vibrant. And today we witness that the beautiful decoration which is presented here along with all the arrangements, it is because of the coordination between the teachers and the students. What else can be better if there is a coordination between these two parties, because we hardly come across this kind of zeal and togetherness in any of the universities. As a registrar of this university, I am a facilitator, and I am here on behalf of the administration of the university and put my word forward that as and when required, please come or please just bring it to our notice. We are always ready to facilitate you in terms of infrastructure or any other requirements. The university is acknowledging the efforts of this department as well as the faculty, and we would be happy to facilitate you in whatever manner as and when required, whether it is an infrastructure or the human resources or other finances, whatever it is. With just a request that keep going on. That is what is required, and wish you all the very best for the beautiful evening today and tomorrow. Enjoy yourself with the creativity. Your department is very close to the environment as well as the aesthetics of the university's building and all those things. Please create an example that gathering is a decent kind of an gathering, and we create an example for others also that how the beautiful evenings are academically maintained. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Now, we request the Dean of Students, Professor Hemang Taylor, to say a few words.
So when steps are fumbled, it has to be taken care of. So as Bhavna ma'am has already said that COVID make us in so many critical situations, and we have taken out by Almighty God in a better mode now. So, Registrar respected Chudasma sir, Head of the Department Bhavna ma'am, very I am very happy to know that Vakil sir and Makate sir has passed out from this faculty in 58. So I am feeling very much happy to be part of such a group which is having so eminent alumni of this department. At the time of passing out from this department, even many of us have not become part of this world even. So very much happy to have Vakil sir and Makade sir pass out of 58 class. President Kalabhavan Architecture Alumni Foundation, Sandhya Saha ma'am, and eminent alumni members and my student friends, because such programs are always being designed, I can say flowchart, executed and planned everything by student friends. So my student friends, happy to see you in this very good gathering. As a capacity of Dean of Students of the Faculty of Technology and Engineering, I assure you friends, whenever from some days, some student coordinators came to meet me, I always assured them that as a part of Faculty of Technology and Engineering, whenever the support, the need will come from the department, we are there assuring to the fullest, we are there for your support. So not taking much time, congratulating all the students and department becoming the main resources of arranging such a great program. So congratulations to all becoming a part of this department and becoming a part of this evening. Thank you, friends.
Thank you so much, sir. Dance is a reflection of historic and current cultural values. When you watch a dancer who puts all there into a dance, it speaks volumes. So, to make the evening more graceful, I welcome Jansi Suratia from first year on stage to perform Ganesh Vandana.
गणदेवताय गणाध्यक्षाय धीमहि गुणशरीराय गुणमण्डिताय गुणेशानाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि
Thank you for such an uplifting performance, Janshi. It filled us with joy and delight. Before moving forward, here is a glimpse of today's events. The first half started with a very informative keynote lecture by architect Chitra Vishwanath of Biome and Environmental Solutions.
Followed by two simultaneous walks. First was at Akshar Center for Helping Impaired Children, designed by architect Karan Grover and Associates.
The second walk was with architect Shreya Dalwadi and architect Kalpesh Dalwadi at Anupam Mission Mogri, Anand.
It was an amazing experience to attend the online workshop on human behavior in spaces by architect Pooja Ugrani and to learn the basics of proxemics, personal space, territorial markers, and how humans use their built environment.
Scheduled today was also an interesting competition, Visual Tales. It was a great opportunity to unleash the artful and imaginative side of oneself by participating in it.
As rightly said, growth is never by mere chance. It is the result of forces working together. Kalabhavan Architects Alumni Foundation is an alumni body of the Department of Architecture, Maharaja Sayajirao University, Baroda.
Kala Bhavan Architects Alumni Foundation has made a worthwhile contribution to the Department of Architecture and has been working with the Society of Architecture students since the beginning.
Like every year, this year too, Reflection is supported by the alumni body, for which we are immensely grateful. The foundation is not just a body of members, but over the years have become a backbone which constantly supports the students and pushes them and uplifts them to do things further.
With this, now I would like to call the President of Kala Bhavan Architects Alumni Foundation, Architect Sandhya Shah, on the stage to share her views.
After a long wait, we are all here. We all were waiting, and today, because of the offline, we could meet, and we all are thankful to the Almighty for all this. But before we start, I would like to share my gift with all of you. Seeing this first row, which was always being occupied by architect Yashwant Mistry sir. And today, remembering him, his pioneering spirit, and his enormous contribution in shaping K Foundation at what we are at today, I would like, and the second loss to us is our faculty member, ex-faculty member, Dinesh Pathak sir. I would like everybody to please stand up for 2 minutes of silence in respect of the memory and the legacy they have left for us. Thank you. Now, I would like to brief you all about what is KAAF, especially for our young incomers who have just joined this department, this premises, started working and working for reflection. KAF was constituted formally in 1991 and has today grown to a fraternity of more than 300 members. The foundation derives the name from Kalabhavan Technical Institute, started in ex-Baroda state in 1890. It was one of the very few schools, probably the second in India, imparting training in architecture and civil engineering. It had a 4-year diploma course in architecture and civil engineering. The institute was taken over by the Maharaja University of Baroda in 1949. Then onwards, the Department of Architecture was a part of Faculty of Fine Arts, and then the Faculty of Technology and Engineering till date. A 5-year full-time leading to BR was instituted in 1954, and the first graduate of degree course, Arun Bhai, is here. With the passage of time, the facility and resources available were not sufficient to meet the professional challenges of that time. So the need for a separate independent building started being felt, and gradually these dreams began taking shape in by our visionary professors and the past students of the alma mater. As a first step, a group of dreamers, motivated by Shrikaran Grover, came together to constitute the K Foundation in 1991 with a good spirit of alma mater. A formal constitution was framed by the Forbes Executive Committee under the leadership of architect Mahadev Devbhatta, with significant contribution from our members, late Shri Architect Manoj Patel, late our Professor N.B. Chadua, late Shri Dhirubhai Patel, late Rasikbhai Shah, Hema Ben, late objectives of SAS were framed and were mainly to foster a sense of fraternity, to serve as a platform to exchange the ideas, as an appropriate channel of communication to motivate, encourage, and assist research in theory and practice of architecture, and above all, to upgrade architectural education to meet the challenges of the profession. The new building, which started with the Bhumi Pujan by Srimati Padma Ramchandra, then the VC of MSU, and was finally donated to the department formally in 2000. To keep the fraternity updated and induce seeds of innovation, the foundation had organized exhibitions for building materials in the years 1993, 94, 95, 2002, 2004. These have been widely appreciated by architects, students, as well as citizens of Baroda. Eminent architects like B.V. Doshi sir, late Charles Kodia sir, Christopher Bellinger, architect Vimal Patel, Brinda Somaya, they have showered their knowledge in the past from this platform. The donation of facilities of architectural education by alumni fraternity has been one of the greatest achievements of the KAA Foundation. This has been extended from time to time. Establishment of computer lab and the development of our quadrangle are some of them. The donation of 50 drawing boards and school by batch 1981 on request of architect Sindha Lakshmi is another example of supporting the alma mater for which the department was waiting for years from the authorities to sanction and replace, which were the basic needs of architecture education. KAF has also been motivating and nurturing students' talents by awarding scholarships and trophies. The best student award given every year is one of them. Under M.B. Davekar, his award has been given in last 3 years, who was our first graduate. KAF is constantly adding and working to help students from 2020. We started giving scholarships to needy students by paying them their fees. We are proud to announce that in 2020, we could give it to 10 students, but this year, 2021, we could increase it to 12 and collecting funds for continuing it for a long time. Here, I would like to announce our donors today, who has already supported for this year. Number one is architect Anjana Arusha, supported for 3 students in 2020. Architect Janki Shah, in memory of architect Rafiq Shah, he supported 1 student for 2020. Apatya Sangini Group, they supported 1 girl student for 2020. Architect Jitendra Jain and Chawla Modi Jain, they supported for 1 student 2020 and for 2021. On memory of late architect Dhirubhai Patel, the family supported for 3 students, both for 2020 and 2021. Architect Devyani and Kamlesh Trivedi supported for 1 student both the years 2020 and 2021. Architect Hema Patel supported for 1 student this year 2021. I am thankful to all donors and I request all our alumni to come forward to help students. And they are always is also committed to induce and encourage more and more interaction among the fellow members. For this, one of the prime tasks ahead would be to further increase the strength of our fraternity. I urge all the students get student membership and lifetime membership. Help to increase your membership. Please ask for it. Please help. The journey continues with a request to one and all students here to extend the hand of cooperation, care, and effectiveness, all in benefit of the fraternity and as a tribute to our alma mater who has enabled to reach us at this time. Now we have a special announcement to make today, and for that I would like to invite our Vice President, Architect Chetan Kumari and Architect Ketan Shah.
Since few years, we have been trying to increase the database of the KF members seriously. We have done several membership drives and also visited few cities in Gujarat. But somehow we have not been fully successful to our satisfaction. Also over the years, it seems that it is becoming very difficult to have a physical meeting of members with great number of people attending it due to busy social life, etc. To overcome this, it was very much necessary to create an online platform. And we were trying since few years where everyone can become active member of the fraternity, share their memories, knowledge, work, or just immerse themselves in nostalgia for some time. We have a legacy of more than 60 years now, and which translates to 2,400 plus professionals. So with a primary target of raising membership up to 800 members from current 300 members, and create a database of more than 1,200 members in next 3 years. Here we go with the first version of our website. Yeah. So this is the first page look of the website. We don't have much time, so I'll explain in brief. We focus our intentions to achieve. The first was to reach out to more than 2,400 members and inform them about existence and activities of KAAF. This is about KAAF. Most of which Sandhya just mentioned. Narrative of KAAF and our second was to create a database of our alumni, which will include directory of all the members. This is still we are putting data into it. The third one was to create nostalgia among the members of the same. For that we have a gallery which will give the photographs of the past events, and we have a nostalgia section where anyone from around the world can post their photographs from 1964, 54 to today. We have already received some photographs and it will be soon on the website. The fourth one, the blog. The poem written by architect S. Lakshmi about our own department. So that is the first block we have put. So here, the members and even non-members, we have kept it open for non-members also to share their knowledge through blogs. The next one was to create a bridge between professionals and students by placement information. So it will contain basic information. Students can access this and get information about the requirements of trainees or fresh architects or experienced architects, whichever way it may be. So these are the focuses. The last one is the donate section, where we have information about what we are trying to, we are trying to create new requirements, generating new requirements, especially for the students, because now we have 10 students who are from EWS category. So they will be requiring a lot of assistance to pursue an expensive program like architecture. So we have these three categories right now. We support student scholarship that we have already started. Second category is support to needy students for academic requirements. That is, apart from scholastic help, additional help in terms of their academic expenses. The third one is support to alma mater. So that is for fund if required over and above that university is giving. So if some bridging amount is also required, we'll be giving to this. So this is the donate section. We have some other ideas also which we keep on posting on the website for this. And we expect, as always, a very warm support from the alumni. So primarily we are here to seek wholehearted support from all of you. Extend your reach to our alumnus sitting in different corners of the world and bring them on the one page. That's all. Thank you very much. I now call upon architect Sneha Vadera to give vote of thanks on behalf of the Sorry, I'll call upon architect Sandhya Shah. He will declare.
Hello. Now I would like to request Architect Arun Vakil sir and Architect Sandhya ma'am to please give the awards to the students. Hello. For year 2019 and 20, first, I would like to request Ms. Pragati Dharmeshbhai Patel to please come on stage from BR 1 to collect her award. Now, I would like to request from batch year 2019 and 20, Ms. Pari Panchal from BR to please come up on stage and collect the award. Up next, from year 2019-20 from BR3, now I would like to request Ms. Rishika Mehul Devda to please come on stage. From year 2019 and 20 from BR4, I would like to request Ms. Nishwa Patel to please come on stage. From year 2019-20 from BR5, I would like to request Ms. Janvi Patel to please come on stage. From year 2020 to 2021. Now, I would also like to request Architect Hema ma'am to please join Sandhya ma'am on stage. From year 2020 to 2021, from BR1, I would like to request Ms. Vishwa Panchasra to please come on stage. From year 2020 to 2021, from BR2, I would now like to request Ms. Misha Pastagia to please come on stage. From year 2020 to 2021, from BR3, I would like to request Mr. Suchit Gupta to please come on stage. From year 2020-2021, from BR4, I would like to request again Ms. Rishika Devda to please come on stage and collect. From year 2020-21, from BR5, I would like to request Ms. Ketu Vora to please come on stage and collect the award. Thank you so much, ma'am. Now, I would like to request all the winners to please come up on stage with their certificates for a group photograph. Please. Now, to give the vote of thanks, I would like to invite architect Sneha Vadera to please come up on stage.
Good evening, everybody. On behalf of KAF and the students' body, I would like to extend a very heartiest thanks to the Registrar Sir, Mr. K.M. Chudasama, the student dean, for allowing us to have this offline and extending your support, Mr. Hemant Tega, Bhavna ma'am, the head of the department, for extending her support always. All the members of KAF, our guest Mr. Harish Patel, architect Harish Patel, and this event would not have been successful without you students. So a very, very, very big thank you to all the students. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anything is possible when you have the right people to support you. We have received an overwhelming support from our sponsors. We would like to call Mr. Kalpesh Joshi on behalf of our co-sponsor, Item Secure, on the stage for their presentation.
Thank you. Actually, Mr. Kalpesh Joshi is present here, but I would be speaking on his behalf. I'm Manoj Pillai. Thank you for the opportunity. It's great to be associated with legends and at the same time also budding architects, aspiring architects. So I think I will keep it very short because the topic which I'm going to talk about is not very interesting for all. I'm going to talk about termites. Okay. Just 1 minute while I coordinate with the I'll start with the movie and then we'll carry on later.
The belief is to practice a timeless architecture.
So for us, the design process still revolves, and I think so should revolve around the context, the people for whom you are doing the work.
Okay. Design as it comes to us is basically from client's brief, followed by client's aspiration and understanding.
Most of the designers, they try to manage their design practice in a very different way. We over here in our office, we have a team which is dedicated for architecture, which is dedicated for interiors. Each and every project comprises of a team of 4. One is for the studio, and one is for the site for architecture, and again one is for the studio, and one is for the site for interiors.
We start with the brief, and then the case study happens, the site for which we are designing, climatic analysis, and then the context of the place for where we are designing.
We take this study further to understand site forces. Then we do response to climate, how we can, what are the conclusions we need to adopt while developing the designs.
The sustainability of the project, economy, and the quality of execution of.
What made us little ahead of time, you can say, is the awareness, or you can say awakening. Every time you have to keep learning, and what you keep learning is you have to number of errors you make in your lifetime, in your life cycle, in your design, but you should be aware of it.
Form follows the function, which is a punchline given by one of the very, very well-known architects.
Whenever one is starting any of the projects, the basic BOQ would require pest control part of it, which is obviously going to be there, depending upon the size of the plot, depending upon the size of the project. That is going to be there.
So once a design is frozen and we start talking about executional aspects, this is first thing we recommend to client, that it has to be done in a very systematic manner.
Basically, as a designer, we are not expert in termites. So whenever we face some problem about the termite, or like when we are doing some execution or designing of the houses, we always call experts, and we feel that Item Secure is one of the best in India. So we call them, we ask their suggestions, and whatever suggestion they give, based on that we convince our client to go for the same treatment or a same system to be installed in the house.
Always been not a real thought of thing, but it is always taken care of well in advance, and it's for new buildings it has always gone under the floor and it has been part of the tender documents and design planning on the initial stage.
I know one of the person who is doing this is Item Secure and Kalpesh Bhai Joshi. I always trust in their products at the first go because there are 3 points. The first and foremost important thing is Kalpesh Bhai is well aware about termite. He is so much into the life cycle of termite that a person can give you the best of the solution when he comes and treat your termite protection. The second thing about Item Secure is their prompt services. The third thing is their presence pan-India.
They have so many different and very valuable solutions for the termites.
So that's how I believe our bonding is from last 15-17 years.
That iteration of the project starts very fast. In that case, we always recommend that the proper treatment for the termites should happen right from beginning, right from the foundation of the project.
In the concentration of the chemical in the soil analysis, you have a way that it again reaches and the termites can be controlled.
In terms of termites, we feel that Item Secure takes care of moderation about protecting our project for years.
See, whenever there is some damage happens, so then you are going for a corrective action. And better idea is to go for a preventive measure. See, Baroda is like the rock is encountered at a depth of more than 50 to 100 meters. So most of the time structure is resting on soil only. Now it has been divided into three different areas. Let's say old city, so then Sursagar Lake is there, and all surrounded by 2 to 5 kilometer radii. So then it is all yellow clay soil with a water logging. So water table is encountered at a very shallow depth. Now this is a very critical condition for termite.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. We actually designed this entire the architect students in mind actually, and for the entire community. I just have one small presentation followed by a movie. I will not take much time. I know we are running a bit short of time. See, for many of us, probably what we're going to talk is a little new. Some of us might not be aware, so I thought some presentation where we also explain. Why we come into the picture is because of one thing. Earlier, the chemicals which used to be used were aldrin, attractor, chlordane, linden, etc., which had a long life after being applied on the soil. But right now, they are all banned. And whatever chemicals are available are effective only for a period of 2 to 3 years. So what we have is something different. Because the life of the chemical is very short and it cannot last more than 2 to 3 years, customers often have to call some pest control operator to residence or any other structure and ask the pest control operator to drill the floor, because we can apply chemicals only by drilling the floor. So current chemicals, short half-life, typically protection wears off in a matter of 2 to 2.5 years, increase requirement of treatment to treat infested structures, and the method is drill, fill and seal. Okay, but you can understand, like we just mentioned, you spend a lot of time to design structures, 2 to 3 years, probably building it up, and then a lot of negotiation, cost, etc. So it doesn't make really sense drilling the structure once you have made it. What you are suggesting? Install a piping system which is installed during construction stage below the floor. The flooring might be granite, marble, tiling, or any of the modern solutions, but we install a piping system just below the flooring. The chemical is injected after completion of work, and we place convenient junction boxes mostly as far as possible outside the structure so that nobody has to enter it later to service it. Repeated treatments are possible because we give a guarantee or warranty of 50 years. I think 50 years warranty is unheard of in not only termite treatment but many of the other services. So we offer a warranty of 50 years. As long as the structure lasts, our system also will be present inside. It can be serviced every 2.5 years to ensure that termites do not enter the structure. No convenience to occupants because nobody enters the structure to repump or to drill the floors. No damage to floors. Chemical is delivered to all areas because typically when construction happens, if you look at the drainage pipes or electrical conduits, these are the areas from where termites can enter later. And these areas are not treated also during a drill operation because this can damage the drainage pipes or electrical conduits. What we do is we we install the system across the line, and we also do some extra looping around the pipes, so that even after 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, there are no chances of termites entering from this particular place. This is the piping network, okay, and what we're showing here is the testing of the system. You can see the chemical coming outside. So over a period of time, after pumping in 10, 15, 20 minutes, the entire area will be covered with chemical. So this is a large area, so you have some pipe extra here. So in effect, this is how it works. The dripping comes out and the chemical spreads everywhere. The continuous barrier is made. You have to pardon me, I'm going a little fast because of the time constraint. Like I mentioned, as time passes, you will find this is immediately after pumping, a little bit after that, and after around 20-30 minutes, the continuous barrier is formed. This will happen all across the periphery of the building, inside and out. These are some images from the testing which we show to the customer. This is done before the flooring, and once the flooring is done, this cannot be damaged by anything because the floor already exists above this. The last page of this. This is how it is placed. This is inside the house, the inner periphery, and this is outside the house. We have just shown a section here, and I'm sure you're all experts. So this is what it is. It is placed here. This is the floor base, and the slab. Okay, outside it is installed below the apron or the clearance protection. Okay. Going ahead, we will just share a small movie in which we will talk about some projects covered by us in Vadodara, Gujarat, as well as across the country. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. Have a nice time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for this presentation. Now, we would like to now we would also like to thank our associate sponsors. Item Secure, UKL Solutions, Bill Laminates, Engineering Solutions.
Our co-associate sponsors, Nehal Creation, 7-Step Event, Guru Kripa Hardware, Arapada Furniture, Click Copy Point, Winrock, S.A.S Computer, Student Collection, Interior Concept, Hanki Engineering Solutions, Waterboy, Axis, PRI Farms, Manish Associates, and Parmeshwar Ready Mix. Once again, we would like to extend our deepest gratitude for our esteemed sponsors, as this event would not have been possible without their support and faith in us. A big round of applause for our sponsors.
Knowledge is boundless. The more we observe, explore, experience, and learn, the more we keep ourselves expanding the knowledge.
Today, we have a very renowned personality connected with us virtually. Architect Monish Siripurapu from Ant Studio. Ant Studio is a miscellany of architecture, nature, and technology inspired by teamwork and intelligence of ants.
The purpose of their enterprise is to be able to design the experience and to be able to sculpt the spaces that generate the desired experiences.
Architect Monish Siripurapu is the founder principal of Ant Studio, based in New Delhi. He graduated from the School of Planning and Architecture, Delhi in 2009. Sir received the prestigious J.N. Tata Scholarship in 2015 for his PG diploma in robotic fabrication from the Institute of Advanced Architecture of Catalonia, Spain.
Sir is also known for his experiential work in the field of architecture and planning industry. He has won many national and international awards and competitions, and his work has also been published in many journals.
We are exceptionally honored to have you, sir. We would like to request you to share with us your valuable knowledge and experience.
Sir would be joining us shortly on the online platform.
are experiencing some technical glitches. Please bear with us. Received a message from architect Mohit sir. He'll be joining us in 2 minutes.
Hello.
Yeah, you're audible.
Yes, sir. So we yes, sir. Now it's visible.
Okay, thanks. Hello. Hi, hello everyone. This is Monish. I'm the founder of Ant
Sir
Studio.
has joined the meeting, and I would like to
Um,
request everyone to please settle down
Sorry, I'm
for the
actually,
meeting.
one second. It says someone has started sharing, so my screen has turned off. Can I can also see a screen right now. So on this.
Sir, the screen is again not visible.
No, that's because somebody else has shared. You have shared your screen. So my
Uh, okay, sir. Try again now.
yeah.
I'll stop sharing. Okay, sir. Now
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. So once again, hello everyone. This is Monish. I'm the principal architect of Ant Studio. So nice to meet you all here virtually. Unfortunately, we cannot see each other being a virtual conference. But I'm really happy to be here sharing our thoughts and the work our studio is doing. So today I will be talking about one of the unphantom senses that I really consider, I always actually feel really fond of when, especially in the work that we do, is nostalgia. And I don't know if it is actually can be called a senses, but this is something as an experience or a sense that always try takes us to a memory or a different place that we already are familiar with. And for me, what nostalgia really means is that it's a beautiful memory that's etched and something that we cannot live at the moment, but some always feel in the back of our head that okay, something used to be like this. Okay, and especially I think the way it is relevant to the work that we guys are doing today is, especially in the architecture practices, more to do with the culture of a place, and especially from where we all came from, Indian. The whole concept of this Indianness. I really don't want to use the word Indian architecture because I think that's probably is quite vast and not contextual in the conversation that we're having today. But I really want to talk about more from the sense of what we really associate with. It's not. It's a sense of space. It's a sense of material and textures and the way we lived probably in the past and all of it. So. Talking about these experiences that we all gathered, and today what we are as a practice consciously doing at Ant Studio is to remember these past experiences, maybe from travels, and as a student when I was your age, probably when I was traveling all around, like what kind of the experience that we associate with, and and rethink those how things used to be and what is it that we really can actually think and do today. And then our work is also about like readapting it in today's date, because now as a practice, I mean, we're also like pretty much fond of technology. That is something that is very essential for everything that we guys are doing today, right from the mobile phone that we use to the laptop or the car, anything. I mean, technology is a very integral part of the life in today's date that we really cannot think a day without internet. So while keeping the modern essentials that we have, but how really we can actually connect with the past is an essential question or the quest in our practice. And what we really try and do is to combine art and technology in a manner, but then somehow try and do as much as we can to combine it with nature. That's what we try and do within the works. So these are some of the projects that either happening or we have executed in the recent past. And I will not be getting into the detail of any of these projects. This is just to give a sense of the kind of work that we are doing today. And most of the work that we're doing involves a lot of experimentation and you can say that we try to explore a lot of new tools and technologies. But then for us, what is really important in the practice is to see if we can root it and ground it to natural materials and I mean, what is very much local and how can we redefine what is local with the help of these technology and tools. So before getting into like one of the projects or the research that we guys are doing in more detail, I'd just like to talk to you guys about certain exploration and artwork that we have done in the past. So this is a pavilion that we have done at School of Planning and Architecture a couple of years back, just before COVID, wherein the whole idea used to create a pavilion using this architecture tools, I mean computational tools for a workshop that we have conducted. But then, more importantly for us, we also wanted to make it very educative and also talk about a very essential problem in the society. In this case, we thought, what if we actually talk about pangolin, because pangolins are one of the most endangered species. So we thought, what if artwork and computational design, rather than just being an abstract or a crazy form, what if it can also like really talk about an issue and create more awareness among people about pangolins, because at some point of time most of the people didn't really know what pangolin is, especially in India. And when we are actually working on this the project or the idea for this, I personally have come across an article around the same month, probably 1 month or around this before the installation, that an Indian pangolin was killed in Gurgaon from the in the forest area, because when it came out, people thought it is really creepy and it is something probably not a, it's evil. That's the kind of perception that people had when they looked at pangolin, the harmless creature. So we thought probably it's a good idea to actually see and if you can replicate that in this thing. Going further, this is another project, again an art installation wherein we were working on the renovation of this project. This is Anahat, and so we recovered around 7,000 tiles from the roof. So the whole idea behind the project is to let the ground floor be as it is and build a structure on top of this. That's why the form that the way it is in this the visualization on the extreme left, what you see. So we left the building be as is in this project and then took the form of this onto the existing building. So whatever tiles that we recovered from the roof here, we converted that into an installation. So this is something that I saw on site, people stacking the whole thing. It was beautiful. I mean, the way this interlocking can work, the way they were stacking. So we thought, what if we use that interlocking and everything using computational tools to create an art installation right in the same site where we removed it, rather than throwing them into a landfill or just breaking them and whatnot. So we put every, I think almost every single tile to use in the project in here. So now I'll be speaking more about this particular nostalgia aspect, and there is a Coolant is you can say in a way a research wing of Ant Studio, wherein most of the work that we currently do, we also try and experiment with passive techniques and how natural materials can be integrated into architecture projects. So this was one of its the first project that we have done in a factory, since we were like art, like I said, plays a very important role in the work we do. So this project also started as an art installation. So we were what you see on the screen is a plan, and on the bottom right corner there is a DG set, and this DG set used to throw like hot air into this environment. This is a DG set, and it used to be unbearable for people to really stand and work in this area. So for us, the idea is to see, rather than just creating an art installation, what if it can also be performative and functional. So what you see on the left was an initial prototype. What we created is a bridge lattice. This was under construction. So once we built this, we saw that there was substantial drop in temperature. Then we actually wanted to see if we can optimize it, whatever the experiment that we have done, to see if that can be optimized to an extent that we can create a more what do you say, kind of a blueprint for the installation that's both performative and also, I mean, all the analysis and everything were like guiding us to see what is the right size and the volume or the length of the pots and the diameter that are essential to get the performance that we desire in the project. So this is how it ended up. So we call it Beehive because the geometry is inspired by that, wherein the whole system is designed to draw the hot air and then using simple evaporative cooling process, it converts into cool air. So what really happened after this installation is for us, I mean, a lot has changed in the way that we look at things. I mean, earlier, I can say that before, while we work a lot with terracotta as a material in our work and projects, for us it was very important to see, I mean, we have done a few installations after this, but then we realized that if there has to be a serious impact with the work that we guys are doing, because very rarely we get opportunities to create an impact at a much larger scale. Because as a profession, and especially when you are not dealing with large urban projects or commercial or housing projects, you are only dealing with clients or families to say at max, and our kind of impact or the influence is only on the people that we cater to. But here we thought that there is actually much more larger, greater potential to see if we can really contribute towards probably slight change in the lifestyle of how people are relooking at passive cooling techniques and sustainable design, especially from the perspective of natural cooling and ventilation. So we thought if we really have to look at it as a solution for buildings, what is it that we can need to do or modify the design in a manner so that we can reduce the air conditioning load within the buildings. So a lot of, I mean, so we have tried a lot of configurations after this to see how we can take what was otherwise an installation in a factory to more of an envelope, building envelope, wherein we can start integrating into projects. So these are some of the other experiments that we have done, and wherein we were using a grid instead of directly stacking one on top of another, so that it is easy to modify, replace, install, and so on and so forth. So the way this works is pretty simple. It's just a series of pods that are stacked on one on top of another. So the whole idea behind this is that, as you all know, earthen pots are used for drinking water in many parts of the country still, and water inside the pots remain naturally cool. So in this particular case, what we were trying to see is if we can use the same principle but in a reverse order. So instead of trying to cool the water with the help of the system, but rather cool the air as we pass air through these hollow tubes, and then as it comes out, it's naturally cool. Like I said, these are some of the other experiments that we have done. And so we went into a little bit more research from the perspective of computational design and CFD analysis to see if we can improvise the system even further, and to predict what kind of it's actually an animation. Unfortunately, I'm presenting it from my iPad, so I won't be able to play the video. So I mean, it's nothing but it just shows this particular slide shows we have done similar simulations for a factory space wherein it was a shop floor. We have done a series of this the beehives and to see if we can create any kind of an impact in that space. So I must tell you that while we started actually looking at this installation, we have come across a lot of challenges in terms of probably the material quality, terracotta being a non-homogeneous material, and the quality changes from every particular site, and consistency in firing. And in this current configuration, all of these pots are like really loose. So there is also this fear of like maybe some kind of we don't want them to fall on somebody's head, and so on and so forth. So there are certain practical challenges that we have come across while taking it further and then taking it from what otherwise is an art installation, like an isolated installation, into a system for building screens and facades. So we had to really look at the complete design itself after working with this configuration. So what we felt was the right thing to do is to let this work for low-rise buildings and probably one or two floors. And for high rises and other stuff, we need to really have an alternative design in mind with very minimal loose components and so on. So something that we started, I think, once we realized the challenges that we were facing here, so we started to look at the research from a different perspective altogether, and we wanted to get back in time and see how. I mean, this is like a beautiful quote by Murray Baker, and essentially what he says is that what we already have is so beautiful, and it's really foolish not to think and adapt it in any other way. So. Uh, like the whole idea, like I said, for us is to make it very responsive. And traditionally, I mean, if you look at architecture, the way it has evolved, and it's very responsive to the climate. I think climate and the context and this topography makes a massive impact on the buildings, the way they used to be designed. And it's actually all the, if you look at, I think I'll be going into a little bit more detail about the buildings, how they were influenced by the local climate and all that. And also material, because everything, the way that we build, you'll see a lot of these laterite bricks in Goa and Odisha and all those places. In the south, we have different kind of construction techniques, and in probably courtyard houses in the south, and more of this havelis and what do you say, this narrow fenestrations in Rajasthan and so on and so forth. And most of it comes from the climate. That's what really contributes to the way that traditionally architecture has evolved. And so when we started looking at terracotta from a little bit more detail, I think these are some of the examples we thought I really can share, because the other pots, I mean, they came around 400 BC, and you can see that right from how the terracotta pot has evolved for every different purpose. The designs are very different, from drinking water to the flower pots and whatnot. I mean, the design has evolved, and there's also art that is integrated into it. Now, similarly, these pots were not just used for drinking water, and Egyptians used to stack these pots one on top of another, and the slaves used to fan the surface of these pots to cool air for the pharaohs. So this is a very interesting example for us. So we thought we can actually pick a lot from here and then see if we can improvise it further. Am I going too fast? I mean, it's I mean now that it's almost like me just talking to the screen. So I just wanted to check if am I still live? Can you guys hear me? Hello, hello. Okay, so I'll continue. So this is another project in like I mean without getting into too much of detail. These are some of the interesting work in Islamic architecture and Indian architecture. How terracotta was actually used as a brick material and also with lime mortar and insulation and so on in between. And this is another favorite example of mine, Adobe Homes in Haran, in Turkey. Like what we're trying to see in here is that I mean because there are thousands of examples like this. I really the reason I'm not getting into the detail of it is because material and the culture or I mean that really changes the visual aesthetic of the buildings. I mean that's all I really want you guys to look at. I'm not actually wanting to talk about Hindu architecture or Islamic architecture by any means, not even remotely. But the whole point of this, the slides is actually to indicate that like certain practices have influenced the way that buildings are and the way whether it's the strength of the materials. I mean, if you look at the lime and stone, you can easily go taller in terms of because the material has that kind of a strength and the way that we build. But if you, the moment you start using mud, I'm talking about like Adobe Homes and all, the vocabulary and everything changes because of purely the material, the way the strength and really it permits. And so for us, since we were wanting to like look at how traditionally, so for us, I mean, then the research and everything was around thermal comfort and how we can use natural materials to create that kind of an impact. So this is Hawa Mahal in Jaipur, and it's very simple. Like what we see here is that the way the fenestrations are designed, as the hot air passes through a wider aperture and enters through narrower aperture and comes inside, there is a pressure difference that helps in cooling, and it's a very simple visual thing. And similarly, again, you can see that in Egypt. I mean, it's also interesting to see how Venetian blinds have actually evolved. On the right bottom corner, these are river reeds. Roots actually, they used to dry these reeds from the river and used to actually stack them on the windows, and which eventually turned, I mean, evolved into what we call as Venetian blinds and jalis and so on. And this is another classic example of like charokas, what we have. These are mashrabiyas in the Middle East. Mashrabiyas basically means a place for drinking water. And especially in Islamic architecture, there is always this restriction about like how people, especially for the women, to like not to show reveal their face completely to the outside. So these places used to become not just like a place for cooling water, but also for social interaction, for people to sit there and actually look at the street and so on. And these are wooden lattices wherein they used to put this pot for drinking water. And this is the same again, the concept of a mashrabia. And as the hot air used to go inside and come out through these wooden lattices and come inside, it also used to cool the air. So if you look at the sketch on the right, there is also this beautiful way of how hot air used to escape out and the cooler used to get inside into the space. And with the evaporative cooling, this place is actually acting both for drinking water and also for cooling air and also for social interaction. So this is some amazing ways of how in the past the whole patterns and architecture and the style has evolved around a particular functionality of a simple process of drinking water, and the person can sit and actually interact. You can see this beautiful sketch on the right where the people used to sit and look at the street, and especially women, like I said. So, but that entire ritual of placing the drinking water over there has turned into a beautiful manifestation of a window altogether. And we do, I mean, not just in Middle East. I mean, if you look at the Jarokas, the famous Jarokas of Jaisalmer, and we have like tons and tons of examples like this. But my question is, like I said, I'm not really interested in the history of it. What's really happening today? The point is, we don't look at these examples anymore. What is sad is that, like I said, these are all like stories of saying that, oh, there used to be a time when things used to be happening like this. That's what we really wanted to address here, nostalgia. That when we look at these, when we walk to forts, and as students are like, especially even in college, when we go to forts and museums and all of it, there is always this essence, oh, this is how it used to be. But the point is, do we still practice? Now, this is the same building, what I just said. This is not actually a traditional Jaruga, but this is a modern building, I guess, wherein you can see that what was really picked in it is only the style of the building, but not necessarily how it functions. You can also see that all the windows in this Jaruga, the corner windows, they're done exactly the same, but they're covered with glass windows, and you can also see an air conditioner on the top. So the point that I'm trying to make here is that we look at this the memories and this the past only from a certain lens of trying to replicate the probably the beauty and the aesthetic of it, but not really the way things used to work. So, and what because of which what's really happening is that there are no cultural boundaries anymore. All the cities, if you travel, most of the cities in Europe or metropolitans in India, you'll see that the building, the kind of vocabulary that is coming across outwards is the same. We are missing the cultural boundaries between buildings and between spaces. Now, that is something that is I really don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but that is what is happening. So, in the name of futuristic buildings, we end up seeing similar kind of stuff. But like I said, again, I'm a commentator in here, and so what for us, I think the whole point of this is, when there is a paradigm shift that is inevitable, because we already are seeing this and we're witnessing this massive paradigm shift. And for even for a larger conversation, when we actually talk about metaverse and other digital spaces and all of it, it's even going furthermore. I mean, there is no way that we can really stop it. So the question is there room for culture, cultural heritage, and the way things used to be with the help of technology? Can we use technology to readapt some of these systems that have worked in the past? I'm not saying everything, but probably some of the systems in the past, and look at it from a different lens in today's date. So, so yeah, I think that brings us to the whole point of, like I said, what we started before, that that every space or the location and the geography, they play a massive role in the way we build. So if you look at this example in the hills, especially in the mountains, uh, I mean, the material that is available is rock, stone, mud, mortar, and wood. And but the windows, they have like much larger punctures so that you can, and thick walls to retain the heat during winters. But then again, big openings so that you can get enough sunlight and heat into the buildings in winters. But in the same thing, if you look at the desert regions and the hot, you can see that the fenestrations are really tiny, so that you are not really the openings are very small, and you don't want so much light. You want to cut off the heat actually that's entering into the buildings. So we'll see a lot of these mutual shading, jalis, and so on, so that you're really light. Here the question is not about the light anymore, to get the cool breeze inside and so on. So the way things have evolved, I mean, in that particular region, entirely depends on the climate. Now, similarly, in the south, especially coastal areas and so on, because with the help of this entire the issue with the rains and all, there are a lot of sloping roofs and courtyards, so that there, and there's also what do you say, enough shaded corridors in the front veranda so that people can sit and interact, because it's both hot and again humid. So you need proper circulation of air to take out all the hot air. So again, uh, the whole vocabulary of the building has emerged with the location and the climate and so on. So India being a very like a huge nation with like diverse climatic zones, and also cultural, especially we guys come from a huge cultural background everywhere, not just the buildings that we see, but also the way we dress, eat, everything differs absolutely from one place to another, being a very diverse nation. And yeah, this really talks about also the climate, how it really impacts the fashion or the style or the natural, like the traditional clothing what we wear, because it all depends on, again, uh, like the how comfortable that we can feel in these areas, right? So, oh, this is a blurred slide actually. Sorry, it was an animation. So what we're trying to say is that, what if buildings in the same way, I mean, which now tying it back to the work that we guys are doing here, is that what if buildings can breathe, and what if buildings have second skin just like the clothes that we wear? So what we are trying to say here is, since as a studio we are focusing heavily on envelope cooling, and that has become a massive research subject in the studio. Our entire thing is like, just like the clothes that we wear, what if buildings also have a second skin that can regulate the heat and the air that's flowing inside? So this is one of the projects that we have recently, like we started working on this, and the construction has just began. So the skin in this is all made in terracotta because first of all, the carbon footprint for terracotta is really low. And there are fenestrations in this very similar to, like I said, and it's a hot climate. It's in Raipur in the hot region. So the fenestrations, and this is the south facade. They can change according to the sun, and so that on a hot summer day maybe we don't need so many apertures. But again, these things can change with the climate. So this is one of the projects, and similarly going forward. Now this is the other one wherein we are proposing a hybrid, what we call as alternating passive and active building skin. So it's a closed loop. I already told you guys about the challenges that we face with the traditional beehive for high-rise buildings. So in here, we did not want any loose components, and also, like, we did not want to replicate a desert cooler on a building facade. Now, so because there will be a lot of water spillage, maintenance issues, seepage, whatnot. So this is a closed loop with water running through these tubes, and they go through these this terracotta leaflets. And there's also another inspiration behind this because it actually works like a leaves on a tree. You must have heard of evapotranspiration, which nothing but, I mean, on simple terms, evaporative cooling. So the water is released into this terracotta leaflets or the modules, and as the hot air passes through this and comes inside, the air gets naturally cooled.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, can we pause for a moment? There is a technical issue here.
Okay.
Sir, we are really sorry for the inconvenience, but there has been a power cut here. We'll quickly rejoin. We are here only, but we'll quickly
Okay.
resume.
No problem. Thanks. That's fine.
Yes, sir. Sir, we are really sorry for taking so much of your time, but we are just connecting the
No
generator and
problem.
we can resume.
No, no issues, no issues.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I can start.
Yes, sir, we can continue.
Okay. So where did I is should I start from where I am? Yeah, I'm here. Is this where it got cut? Hello, hello. Okay, so let me, I don't know where I missed, so maybe I'll just speak from the slides. So this is a project that, like I said, I mean, the whole idea behind the work is what if building envelopes can be like the clothes that we wear? What if they're able to regulate the air that is actually entering into the buildings, just like the clothes that we wear, the apertures and everything can be controlled according to the heat and the sun out. And so this is another project wherein what we are experimenting with here is an alternating passive and active building facade. By which I mean there is this water that is running inside these tubes, and it is released onto this terracotta modules. And with evaporative cooling, as the air enters through this and comes, I mean, enters the building, it's naturally cooled. Also in here, I was saying that so this is also like an advancement from what we tried doing with the beehive. And like I said, in beehive there are lots of loose components, and also we had this issue with the fear that if you do it on a high rise, it might fall on somebody's head and whatnot. So this is a bit more streamlined in this in the process, because this also you can say yeah, I mean it's more probably evolved in terms of the design. Now, this is a project where we are experimenting this. This also in Raipur, which is again hot climate. And to a surprise, we have conducted a lot of simulations and also analysis around the performance of the building to actually see what is the performance that we can get by adding a bio kind of a skin on a modern building with terracotta. Surprisingly, if we do it the right way, there is a potential to reduce the energy consumption in the building that's used for air conditioning by near about 25 to 30%. Now, just for this building, that translates to about 1,33,000 kgs of CO2 per meter cube in a year. Now, that's a lot of saving in terms of the carbon footprint by relooking at the way that we construct our building skins and how we can actually influence not just the aesthetics, but also like I said, the way we design our building skins can have a lot of bearing on the performance and also the carbon footprint as well. Now, this is another project again wherein we are trying to use the same system. Now, this is the south facade, and you can see like a corridor with this double skin that we have done with a sloping roof on the top with this typical uh, the country tiles on the top. Whereas towards the south, you can actually this is towards the south. Whereas towards the north, it's completely glazed so that you can get maximum light from the northern side. Now, this is the last actually part of the presentation. I won't take a lot of your time. So in here, what we have observed is also that with the material, like I said, materials really play a lot of huge important role in the way that we design buildings. And the reason that we are really fond of terracotta is because uh, the kind of possibilities are, amazing, right? From designing sculptures and art to agriculture to water, minerals extraction, and all of it. There's also a beauty around it. When water and terracotta come together, there is this biofilm that naturally forms on the surface of the spots, which renders it useless for drinking water. After every 6 months, you have to keep changing your drinking pots. But I think in the case of buildings, I personally think it's a great positive, because this bioreceptivity can actually also enhance the air quality of this thing. So if you can amplify the process of this growth through moss and other stuff by carefully designing it, and so there is a potential for actually to also enhance the air quality in buildings. So this is something that we have taken up as another installation, but this time it's what we are calling as a bioreceptive air purification tower. So the whole idea in this is, instead of using this filter-based systems that are already there, which people are trying to test still in the industry right now for smog towers, our research is focused on using terracotta because, like I said, we don't want to go the filter route, even if it is not. Even it had. We really don't know the performance of this because it's still a work in progress. But the idea is we will be happy even if it is not filtering all the finest particles, but as much as possible with the bio film. The reason being, we don't have to keep constantly replacing the filters, that which makes the smog towers extremely expensive in public spaces. I mean, the amount of money that the pollution boards and all of them are spending on this is crazy. Like, hundreds of CRs for one smog tower. But again, it changes completely. But instead, we can have this absolutely cost-effective towers in most parts of the city, where, like, this is the radial system that we are working on with, again, terracotta, wherein the whole idea is that even if you're able to filter all the heavy particles in the air and making it cleaner, and but the cost of this will be comparatively probably a 1/10 or 1/5 compared to a smog tower, and we can have many of this in the city. So this is what we call as coolant coral because of the shape again. But this is completely, like I said, water, moss, and terracotta. And as the water trickles through this of the many of these faces, the facets that you see, it also naturally creates negative ions in the environment, which is very similar to what the kind of experience that you get near waterfalls. So our idea is also that maybe solutions like this using biomaterials or natural materials can also really help in not just like I said buildings, but also enhancing the air quality in the city and so on. Thank you so much. I think that's the end of my presentation. I would love to hear some questions from you guys and or any. Hello, am I audible?
Hello, hello. We are open for questions, so if anyone has any question, you can just tell me. I can mediate the question to sir.
Sir, the points you put forth were clear and
Hello,
articulate.
hello.
We appreciate your effort of providing
No,
visual
just wanted
aids
to
to the
check.
lecture.
I have no
Thank
idea
you so
whether,
much, sir, for this
since I
enriching
can't
lecture.
hear anyone, are there any questions or okay, thank you everyone for having me. So with this I'll sign off. Thank you.
The amount of water needs to be utilized in this particular process is crisis. We would like to know exactly how it is to be maintained after the year.
Hello, am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you're audible.
I'm really sorry for the inconvenience, sir. There's one question from our audience, and we'll be just redirecting the question. So just give me a minute.
Okay.
Yes, yes, sir.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Hello.
Sir, camera.
So there is a question.
There's a lot of echo that I can hear.
Aquí remember, sometimes we are doing simple.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible now.
Yeah. So there is a question from the audience that what is the sustainability while you are using such amount of water in any process of your design?
So water. So there are two things
Just a
that.
minute. Just a minute. Yes, sir. You can continue.
Okay. So yeah, I think that's a very good question. Water, electricity, emissions, and the many other things that are there that we need to calculate, not just the carbon footprint and the of a building. So in this particular case, when you compare it with the, so when we are doing the analysis for this, uh, so yeah, two things that really stand out. One, like I said, material, the electricity consumption standpoint of view, and the other one is water footprint. So what we guys are proposing in our systems or the installations is that, unlike, like I said, we do not want to replicate a desert cooler within the facade. So this is a much smarter system in which the water that is circulating within the system, first of all, it's a closed loop. Now that's the design evolution that happened from a beehive into this envelope cooling that you have seen. So we are not circulating the water outside the system. That's number one, and it's a closed loop. And the second thing is the water based on the humidity content and also the atmosphere, this thing, the temperature. You can easily regulate the water with the help of sensors within the system, so that the whole thing becomes much more controllable. Like unlike a desert cooler, wherein there is a constant flow of water that's running inside. In here, you can also have a say based on the, like I said, the humidity levels and like the heat outside. So that ways we can actually regulate the amount of water that's going in. So yeah, definitely water is being used, and the other alternative that we have is this closed, what do you say, the air conditioners. I think between the two, this comes across as more sustainable alternative compared to the other one. But definitely there is a certain water footprint in the product in this approach.
Thank you so much for answering the question, sir.
Are there any more questions? Are we?
Direct. Yes, sir. Now we can end the session.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. It was a great.
Thank you so much for joining, everyone. With this, I would just like to announce that we can proceed towards the dinner. The dinner is ready and it is served in front of the canteen. So those who are willing to have the dinner can proceed towards the dinner. Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, get ready for the most exciting, most energetic, and most anticipated part of the night, the cultural. A tinge of glamour, some beats and rhythms, and a whole lot of amazing attires is the perfect way to describe our next event.
So, put your hands together for this charismatic glimpse of the vividity present in India in the form of ramp walk. It will be done by the students of MURP and architecture. So we will